Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. Here are your hosts, Coach Mike Keene and Jeff Hodges.
Hello and welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. I'm Jeff Hodges along with UNA head baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach Keene, the UNA Lions 16-13 overall, 6-6 in the Gulf South Conference, but you seem to have gained a little momentum this past week. You're on a 3-game winning streak right now and hopefully getting ready for a stretch run here in conference play.
Yeah, we've been kind of waiting for us to get going, and it seemed like every time we were maybe had a really good game that might propel us into playing games, and we kind of struggled midweek, come out and really played played 3 solid games against a very talented West Florida, and then this week we're finally able to get a win against Trevecca and Alabama A&M in the midweek. So, it's still got a long season. We still got some tough challenges ahead, so, hopefully we're starting to get a little bit consistent.
You got 5 Gulf South Conference series left, but if you look at the 4 that you've already played, your last 9 conference games have all been played against teams that are in the top 9 in Division II. You came out of those 4 and 5, but really could have been 7-2, 8-1. Let some games get away, but let's talk about the West Florida series first. The opening game you lost 8-6. You had a 2-0 lead in the 6th inning. They had a big inning and took a 6-2 lead. You were able to come back and tie it, but then let the game get away late.
It's been kind of the year where things that okay, what happened once, the chances of this happening again, probably not. Well, it continues to happen. So it's not, we walk guys, you give up, I think it was, 3 or 4 singles in a row. And it seems like eventually one of them's going to be hit at us somewhere, but they weren't. And part of that thing is Chad was pitching extremely well. Then the rains came. We had about a couple hour delay, and Chad just was unable to get loose. And so we had to go to the bullpen. And, we came in and threw strikes. And, West Florida, very good team, got back in the game, did some situational stuff to get the victory. But, overall, I thought Chad was really pitching well, and that was kind of the sad thing. We had not having him in there probably had a little bit of difference in the game. But, West Florida is good, so there's no doubt about that.
West Florida ranked number 6 in the nation, and Chad actually shut him out last year and got a Conference Pitcher of the Week award for that. He pitched 4 scoreless innings, like you said, a tremendously long rain, lightning delay. Kind of threw a monkey wrench into that one. But you came back in game 2, and Michael Watkins did a great job for you on the mound. Again, 2-1 lead in the 6th inning, and West Florida came back again and won 3-2.
Yeah, that was Michael's had really back-to-back really good outings, and again it was kind of a play that's happened 3 out of the last 4 games where they got 2 outs and the ball's hit up the middle, and we're able to get to the ball, keep it from going to the outfield. We got the guy hung up. That happened at UAH, it happened at Montevallo, and that's a situation where it happened again, where we make the play, kind of comes out our glove, and we can't get the throw to the plate, which end up tying it, and then obviously. Disappointing the way we lost. It was, pretty heartbreaking. I thought our guys bounced back well from that, but, got behind one of their better hitters, and the ball really wasn't carrying that much. And, basically Michael challenged him, and the guy hit a walk-off home run, and, after a very well-pitched game.
And a real credit to your team on the road. 2 hard losses on Saturday. You were able to come back and win the game on Sunday, 6-4. And Cade Medley, great pitching performance for you, going 8 innings.
Yeah, Cade did that. We needed that against Delta State, and obviously did against West Florida. And it was warm that day. That was one of the first hot days. After being kind of rainy and cloudy, and we played in a lot of cold weather. It's sunny and 75 and about 80 degrees, and so we're a little concerned about how he's going to handle it. But I thought he handled it really well. Pitched deep. Really had a good zone, keeping the ball down, mixing pitches well. We were able to make some plays and have some, good at bats, and they had made some mistakes that they normally don't make, and we were able to capitalize on them.
And you came back from the warm weather in Pensacola and went to snow weather in Nashville. Midweek game against Trevecca. You were able to win that one 10-2. Great pitching performance by Riley Sanderson, and Will Dennis 4 for 4 at the plate.
Right. It was. I thought it was one of our better days at the plate, our approaches, because we hit some balls hard. Even though we had quite a few hits, we could have had more. They're right at them. Obviously, Riley came out and pitched extremely well, went deep, was well up into the 90, close to 100 pitches, which we haven't had a lot of at our midweek guys. And, Will got a chance to catch. We've been catching Lundborg on the weekends, put Will out there. And obviously, offensively, he's been doing very well this year, and especially with runners in scoring position. He was really kind of got us going. He had a big hit early in the game that kind of got the lead and got us going.
And we kind of renewed an old series. We have not played Alabama A&M in a number of years, but you had a game with them on Wednesday. UNA won that one 6-1. Damon Erickson, 7 strong innings on the mound in that one.
Yeah, it was nice to see, because the Alabama A&M, we were not, I didn't think we played near as well as we did against Trevecca. Obviously coming off a lot of games, been on the road a lot. You're a little concerned about that, so we needed to have a good pitching. I know he had a no-hitter going into the 7th, and obviously he was going to continue to go out there if that was the case. But, former UNA player and coach, Mitch Hill, coaches over there, so it was nice to get over there and see him, and he's done a lot of work on the facility. And they're struggling. It's their first year. But, again, I thought we pitched extremely well, keep them down, and then, we had a great game out of Jake Ward, and that was one of the things we were able to score. Not a lot of runs, but enough to get the win.
Ward 3 for 4 in that one, so a big part of the UNA's offense in that 6-1 win. We'll take a quick break, and we'll have more Lion baseball for you after this.
TVA Credit Union was established by the Farm Credit Administration on June 24, 1936, with 7 branches full of financial experts offering personal advice. TVA Credit Union offers low rates for mortgages, auto and personal loans, as well as higher rates on savings and CDs. TVA Credit Union is member-owned and operated, and now open to the community. TVA Credit Union is everybody's credit union. Give TVA Credit Union a call today, 256-386-3000, or stop by any branch.
Daddy, can I get a puppy, please?
Okay, Sammy. It's bedtime.
Oh, 10 more minutes, please.
10 more.
Yes, please.
Hey, Daddy. Will you buy some alcohol for my party tonight? We'll be right here at the house. You can even take the keys. Please?
Absolutely not.
Each time I turn around.
Never let me have anything.
Don't be a pushover.
Hate you.
Be a parent. Prevent. Don't provide alcohol to minors.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. I'm joined now by UNA pitching coach Matt Hancock. And Coach Hancock, the UNA Lions returned 9 pitchers this season. I think that may be the most we've had in recent years or maybe any year. So you felt pretty good going into the season that you might be set, with what you thought would happen. But a lot of times that's not the way things turn out. But as far as your starting pitchers, I mean, Chad Bonner and Michael Watkins have really gone out there and done a good job for you.
Yeah, Chad and Michael have been what we thought they were going to be for us early on. Chad hasn't put up the numbers that he did last year, but when you're an All-American, you're going to put up some unbelievable numbers, and those are always hard to repeat. But he's been very solid, and Michael's been very, very consistent as well. So it's good to have those guys at the top of our rotation.
I think when you see the way Chad dominated last year, he was 10-2 and just really went out and shut down pretty much everybody he faced. When you see him struggle a little bit this year, you may be surprised, but he's really battling. He's a tough kid.
He really competes, and if you look at his numbers and you look at some of his outings, it may not reflect that. The one bad outing that he had was at Delta State, and that was a little disappointing. He just really, for the first time in probably 5 years, he didn't have his stuff, and he just he got overmatched that day. But the Huntsville game, he really, really threw well, I thought. And he gave up 6 earned runs that day, but he really battled and held a really good offensive team down. And that's what you're going to get with Chad. He's going to compete, he's going to be in the zone, and he's going to give you a chance to win every time.
Chad 3-2 this season with a 3.83 ERA, but he also has 28 career wins, which puts him in the top 10 in Gulf South Conference history. And it seems like a couple times that Chad has struggled. You've had Michael Watkins, your number 2 guy, really come back with a strong performance after that. And even though his record is just 2-4, he's really done a good job, especially lately.
Yeah, Michael's really competitive, and that's every time he takes the mound, he's fired up and he wants to go, and he wants to be as good as anybody out there. And what kind of effort you're going to get, and it's just a matter of calming him down enough to where he can locate his pitches and get his breaking ball over the plate and even in behind counts and start mixing in that changeup. And that's what he's done the last 2 weeks. He made Huntsville, really kept them down their top offensive club, and he really kept West Florida off balance really the whole game until the very end.
I was going to say, in the series with Alabama-Huntsville, they scored 18 runs in the 2 games he didn't pitch, and he shut them out, which shows you what a great job he did in that game.
He did a great job, and we played great defense that game as well.
Sure did.
We made some phenomenal plays, not only that game, but all weekend, and that's what you have to do when you play good offensive teams. But he really, to go out and watch Chad Bonner give up 6 runs, and then you go in right behind and you throw up a 0, that's pretty impressive.
And I know in the fall season, y'all see a lot of the new guys and make some determination for the season. But Cade Medley, your number 3 starter, has really done a great job for you. He's 4-1. His earned run average is 340, and he's picked up some huge wins for you against Delta State, against West Florida.
Yeah, we knew Cade coming in was going to have a very good chance to pitch on the weekends for us. We didn't know if he'd be a relief guy or a starter, but the thing we noticed with Cade early on, he was a very consistent, very poised kid, and we decided that's kind of what Chad's given us on Sundays the last couple of years, the guy that what kind of effort you can get on Sundays in a very important game, and nothing really phases Cade, and he works at his own pace, and he goes out there and he pounds the strike zone and lives on the knees, and he's developed a better breaking ball than what he had in junior college, and that's really helped his progress.
And a couple of new guys that have really helped you, Eric Wilson and Damon Erickson, both have played the starting role and in the relief role. Right now, Damon leads the team with 12 appearances, but he had a great game for you against Alabama A&M.
Yeah, trying to find Damon in the right role has been tough for us. We knew he was a very talented starter. We started the midweek early, and then we kind of made a decision, bullpen struggling a little bit, let's put him in there and try to get some outs, and that didn't work out as well. And there's been some other cases where I felt he came in and did a good job, and we maybe didn't make a play here or there, and it kind of bounced the wrong way for him. But he threw really well yesterday, very talented, upper 80s, got plus secondary stuff. He's just a guy that, if he puts it all together, could be a really special guy for us.
And another, I would say a new face, Riley Sanderson. He was here last year but had surgery, but he's really come in strong, 2-1, a 150 ERA for you this season.
Riley's still learning. And the good thing for us is before he got injured last year, he got to get his feet wet and get out there a little bit. He learned early on, okay, I have to be able to locate my pitches. This isn't high school anymore. I'm not going to blow it past anybody. Guys can hit my breaking ball if it's elevated in the zone, and he's done a better job. Now it's still a learning process for him, and every time he gets out there, we've seen improvement, and that's a good sign going forward.
Talk a little bit about your relief pitching situation. May not be the favorite topic right now, but I know you feel like maybe y'all are getting a handle on it now, but you did let several games get away early in the year, and hopefully rectifying that now.
We did, and it was something we hadn't seen in really 2 years. But when you look at it in the big picture, we got a bunch of sophomores down there, and we got new junior college guys, and whether you're coming from junior college or you're coming out of high school, there's an adjustment to be made. And you look at our freshmen, they didn't go through a lot of adversity last year, and they had a lot of success and rolling along and feeling pretty good about themselves, and now they're going through that adversity. And it's how do you handle it? How do you keep working? How are you going to improve so that adversity eventually stops and we get the success again? But we feel like the guys we have down there with Brantley Claunch, Ben Seabrook, Drew Mobley, Westerhouse, those guys, they're going to figure it out and they're going to be good for us.
I think what you're seeing this year from those guys, you might have expected to see last year, but they all came in and had such good freshman seasons, you felt like they were more veterans than what they've shown this year.
That's right, and every year's a new year. You're right. I mean, last year I think the knock maybe going on us into the season was, hey, you guys might be a little young on the mound to make a real run at it. And this year it was, well, you got a lot of new offensive guys, so you may be a little weak offensively, but you know the pitching's going to keep you afloat, and it's been the other way around. But hopefully, the tide's starting to turn a little bit, and we're starting to be what we thought we could be on the mound.
We'll take another quick break, and we'll have some player profile segments for you when we get back.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our products, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at TNTfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keene and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
He is the most interesting man in the Shoals. He is an artist, a writer, a philosopher, a historian, musician, astronomer, wine connoisseur, environmentalist, Peace Prize recipient. When he speaks, people hang on each and every word, especially the verbs. His personality is so magnetic that he cannot carry credit cards. It is said that once he taught a German shepherd how to bark in Spanish and taught a horse to read his email. Someone recently asked him what he did for fun, and here is what he said.
I don't eat out every day, but when I do, I eat at City Hardware because to me, it's the most interesting restaurant in the Shoals.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. It's time for our player profile segment. And Coach Keene, the three guys we're going to look at today are new guys to the UNA program in 2013, but they've all three been major contributors. Our first one, we're going to look at Eric Wilson, a guy that hit in the leadoff spot for you to open the season playing in center field, but you really needed him more in his pitching role as a left-handed pitcher.
Right, and Eric, a very good defensive player, was at that time was doing a solid job for us in leadoff role. Starting when we got in conference, struggled a little bit. But then, basically what kind of happened, he was pitching midweek for us, doing very well. And, like we talked about earlier, that we're trying to figure out this middle pitching role. And we kind of asked him to see if he, on the weekend, would move to that role, which obviously kind of took him out of the defensive position. It's one of those things that we know, a late guy, we know we're going to get out of him, but he's been really good on the mound. I think that role is going to be more solidified, and I think he's going to be more important as it is on the mound as the season progresses.
He's made 8 pitching performances or appearances for you. He's 2-1 with a 5.16 ERA, and he's really pitching some tough games against the better opponents, obviously.
I thought he came in Trevecca, and we came in that game, and he just really attacked the zone and really went out. And West Florida is really what he did. It's just like one of those things. You look at it, there's a ball hit one way or the other, it's right at a guy, and it just was amazing that all the singles went to a hole.
And Matthew Tittle's come in, started every game at shortstop for you this season, and he's hitting .309. He's been an important part of your offense and defense.
Yeah, and I think Matthew's got to continue to be solid at defense, so we got to be able to make all the plays, just especially the way the season's going. And I think offensively, when he stays within himself, sometimes it gets a little long and gets too many fly balls. But when he hits those line drives and be able to lay off pitches, that's one of the things. We get some times from guys from junior college where they are very aggressive. They swing in a lot of pitches. One thing about him is just getting him to continue to improve as the season goes on. He's got a good eye. He can be really patient. He can take the walks. If we get him on base, he can steal a few bases for us. And that's one of the things that I think he's got to continue to improve on, and we know we can do it. But obviously, so far this year, he's been a big part of our team's success.
And I wouldn't say he's a streak hitter by any means, but he's a guy that can bunch several hits together. If he's having a good game, he's going to get 3 or 4 hits for him. He's had a couple of those this year.
Right, and I think sometimes baseball's baseball. You get some hits that drop, and sometimes you hit the ball hard and it's right at him. You don't have much to show for it. So, but he's always gives us where he's hitting the lineup. It's always dangerous.
And Bradley Nolan, a versatile guy for you. He can play second base, but he's been more used as a left fielder this year, and he's hitting .337. Been a huge part of your offense.
Right, he's we knew that going in. We felt when we recruited him out of Northwest Mississippi Community College. Coach Hancock saw him play and knew he had led them in hitting last year, and he's got some. For his size, he's got real deceptive pop, and I think that's an advantage for him. He's, as you saw against UAH, he's driven some balls over people's head. And the other day, we had a ball at Trevecca where it didn't like it was carried a whole lot, and he hits it all the way to center field, hits a triple right over everybody's head, and they chase it down. He's been in moving to left field was kind of a transition he wasn't quite getting used to, but as the season progressed, he's got a lot better. And one thing that he's been able to do, which is not that hard to do, or it's hard to do, but he's been able to do it. He's been throwing some runners out. He has quite a few assists from the outfield. He's had 2 runners thrown out third base that were huge, and he's had a couple of them at the plate. So he's had some huge plays at the plate. Had one at West Florida too.
He has 13 extra base hits this season, 25 runs scored, 19 runs batted in. But you alluded to the defense there, and that's something really of late. The Lions have been playing very good defense. You're fielding .969 for the year, but the UAH series in particular and some of the others, just great defensive performances by your guys.
Right, and that's even when the season started, I think that was probably one of the most disappointing things. We went down to Florida Southern. Boy, we made some. I know we had Josh Joy around 3 balls down. Andrew Almond was making some diving plays all over the place. We're making all these plays, and we're unable to come out with a win. But we knew that we have that potential. And one of the things that we kind of talked about the other day that's never happened in this program, we've never had a team that's fielded in the 970s as a team, and we've been flirting with that this late in the season. I think we're capable of doing that. It's our ability to make sure we stay focused, concentrate, and just be ready to make every play. But yeah, we've had to make some plays this year, and the UH series was one of those series where you got to see us firsthand, come up with some huge plays.
We'll take a quick break and have more Lion baseball for you when we come back.
Morgan Stanley is proud to sponsor the University of North Alabama Lions. Please see one of our financial advisors, Chris Smith, Bill Jeffrey, Joe Curtis, John Jeffrey, or David Jeffrey to assist you with your financial needs.
Hi, I'm Mike Keene, head baseball coach at the University of North Alabama. Have you ever heard the saying, great baseball players are made in the off-season? As a college baseball coach, I can tell which high school recruits are on a weight program and which ones are not. Help your young athlete reach the top of his sport by training with the personal trainers at the Courthouse Racket Club. Our 5 trainers are ready to work at your athlete's pace and your schedule. Try our 3andMe training program designed for 3 athletes to work with a trainer and lower the cost to fit any budget. Call Ken Irby at 764-0034 to set up a program designed especially for your young athlete. The Courthouse Racket Club, proudly serving the Shoals for 30 years.
Daddy, can I get a puppy, please?
Okay, Sammy. It's bedtime.
Oh, 10 more minutes, please.
10 more.
Yes.
Please? Hey, Daddy. Will you buy some alcohol for my party tonight? We'll be right here at the house. You can even take the keys. Please?
Absolutely not.
Each time I turn around.
Never let me have anything.
Don't be a pushover.
Hate you.
Be a parent. Prevent. Don't provide alcohol to minors.
Morgan Stanley is proud to sponsor the University of North Alabama Lions. Please see one of our financial advisors, Chris Smith, Bill Jeffrey, Joe Curtis, John Jeffrey, or David Jeffrey to assist you with your financial needs.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach Keene, we're going to talk about the Gulf South Conference race, and the Lions certainly right in the middle of that. 6-6 in conference play. The top team in the league with 3 losses, though, so everybody kind of bunched up there together. And with 5 series left, that's 15 conference games, and I know you feel like you got a great opportunity to do well the rest of the way.
Well, you know, we always told the guys, you got to throw the records out the door. You know, you got to be ready to play every weekend, and, you know, we got to play. You know, we got to have good pitching, good defense, and timely hitting. It's no secret what we need to do, and it's whether we're going to be able to stay focused enough, play with the energy that we have in the last couple of weekend series against, you know, teams that you know, are at the time record-wise where we, you know, have a chance to, you know, maybe get some series wins out of it. But you know, I know even Union, you look at there, they beat West Florida. Their pitching obviously is pretty talented, you know, and that's one of the things that they got the pitching to keep you down. So we're going to have to play well all the way out.
The last 9 games the Lions have played in conference play are against top 9 teams. You went to Delta State, they were number 2 in the nation. UH came in here number 9 in the nation, and West Florida number 6. Could have won the series at Delta, ended up losing 2-1. You won the series against UAH 2-1 and could have swept that one. And the same with West Florida. You came out there with a win, but could have won all 3. So does it give you confidence, or just more frustration of what could have happened?
I think it's I think a little bit about, you know, both. I think that's one of the things that happens when you are in a lot of tight games. You're unable to pull them off. Sometimes you get a little bit tighter in those situations, just waiting for something to happen. So you're playing, in other words, not to win. You're playing not to lose, in which that's when you start making some mistakes. And I think, you know, the last game where we're able to get some of those wins, and hopefully we understand to be ready to make the plays when we need to and continue to have good approaches. You know, offensively we've been doing pretty solid pretty much all the whole year, and our defense has been pretty solid. Starting pitching has been pretty good. It's just, you know, we've had that ability to get close, and we can't keep leads, or when we have it, it's expanded. And that's something that, you know, we've been better the last 3 or 4 games. You know, that's what I've been noticing, and we always felt it was there. It was just a matter of putting everything together. Now it's about if we can stay focused all the way through the rest of the season.
And one thing different this year, or last year as well, but difference in conference play is everybody makes the conference tournament. So regardless of what's happened, once you get in the tournament, you have a chance to play your way into the NCAA tournament. As well as UNA's competed against these other teams, I don't think a lot of people are going to be wanting to play UNA in the conference tournament.
Well, and right now, one of the things that I was really pleased with, you know, we knew that, you know, basically every weekend our starting pitching has been pretty good, the 3 guys. We've been a little bit up and down on the midweek arms, but when you get in those tournaments, especially if you're going to, you know, advance, you've got to have a solid number 4 and a number 5. Somebody else has got to be in that situation if you're going to move on. And like I said, our only hope is to get in there and do really well, which, you know, if we play like we're capable of playing, then obviously we're able to beat anybody in the country.
And Union will be the next series for the Lions at home. They've really struggled this season, but in the past, a very good baseball program in the NAIA, but coming into the Gulf South Conference this time for the first year.
Yeah, you know, Brent does a great job over there. They got a good program, a lot of tradition, you know, been very, very successful over the years in baseball. And I think, you know, it's one of those things, you have a transitional period. You got some guys that maybe in a program they didn't get to keep around no shorter, had the same situation. Some guys, they weren't able to keep them eligible. The recruiting process is a little bit different, so I know they're in a little bit of growing pains. But like I said, the one thing that I've noticed about them, you know, they beat Southern Arkansas earlier in the year. They beat West Florida, and you look at their scores. You know, their pitching obviously is pretty sound, and it's like a lot of teams. They're just having, you know, something here or there is not able to win games. But we do know they're capable of beating anybody also.
The next road series for the Lions will be at West Alabama. They lead the conference race right now at 9-3. Part of that, you know, they were able to sweep series with Union and Christian Brothers, but they're just 15-15 overall. So that shows you kind of how topsy-turvy the conference race is this season.
And West Alabama came out, and it was obviously they struggled early in the year. Played some very good teams. You know, obviously they went and played a really tough schedule. And then once they got into conference, and sometimes that's what happens. They're doing the first of the season, they're trying to figure out some situations, and then they figured it out once they get into conference. And really, this will be a big challenge. I believe they play Delta State this weekend, and so that'll be kind of one of their, you know, tests to see how they're doing to basically get some of the better teams, the top teams in the conference and in the country. And you know, that's why I said, as long as we get the 3 games from everybody, you know, it can change. You know, we've been having a little bit of rain issues this year that normally we don't have.
The remaining series that you'll have, Valdosta State at home, then at Christian Brothers, and then West Georgia at home. So with a couple of home series and, you know, like I said, the way the schedule plays out, the Lions certainly have a chance to finish well in the conference.
Yeah, and one of the things too is we finally got some wins on the road. That's something that we have not been very good on the road, and we addressed why. And I don't know, one of those situations like sometimes, but I knew that we had a lot of road games, and it was a matter of you got to get in there and you got to play and you got to be ready to go. And The rest of the team, Valdosta's got very good pitching. I think, the thing about Valdosta, their offense can get going at any time. You hope it just doesn't happen in the weekend. But I know they're a very good ball club. And West Georgia has been another one that's had started off really hot and been kind of up and down. They can be really good, and you're really not sure exactly which one's going to show up. But again, they've had a guy that's been pitcher of the week 2 or 3 times. So obviously they got some arms on the weekend that are going to be really good.
And obviously the long-term goal is try to play your way back into the region rankings, or like I said, do well in the conference tournament, make the region. But really your team has done well focusing on a game at a time. After the losses at West Florida, you were 13-13. You've won 3 straight with 3 really good performances, and I think your team seems to be focusing.
Yeah, I think I really thought the Sunday game, the victory against West Florida, was really showed a lot about our ball club, because it could have been easily to been, when you lose like that, it could be like, man, we just can't win a game. And I know the way we came out, and West Florida made some mistakes and we didn't. It was one of those games that and obviously the pitching effort by Cade Medley, and then we've been talking about, okay, here's Tuesday game, let's stay focused. Here's Wednesday game, let's stay focused. Every game from this point on, because obviously we don't have any room for error. I mean, it's almost like a playoff game every time we're going in, because if every loss you get, it just keeps hurting you more and more, and we've had way too many this year.
Some of those guys that have really stepped up for you, Cade Medley, we mentioned with Coach Hancock, but he's really come out on those Sunday games and been a big lift for you in several series now.
Yeah, and I know Coach Hancock alluded to it about the importance of Chad being that Game 3 winner, and then Cade's been that role, and that was one of the reasons we wanted him, and that we felt that he could bring that to us also, and he actually has. So, and he's he was in a good junior college program, and there's in a program that was won a lot of, been in a lot of championships, a lot of good players. So I think he understands the pressure of performing and like what the expectations here at UNA.
And a couple of guys that have really stepped their game up. Jake Ward now batting .407, leads your team in hitting, but he's a threat on the base pass. He's had a lot of extra base hits lately, and he's really coming on.
Yeah, Jake was early in the year was kind of in and out of the lineup. One of the things that I think he's really made some more improvement. I always felt the offensively he could he competes really well, but we made the move to center field. Part of the reason in center field because he was better in center than he was in the corners, which some guys can read the ball after the bat better. But he's really ran some balls down in the recent games. I mean, Longway's really tracked him using his speed, and obviously he uses the whole field and he gets on base, and we got to continue to get him in a position where he can steal bases. But yeah, he's been doing just a tremendous job at this point.
And Dylan Boston in the designated hitter spot all season, and has definitely been a solid hitter for you, hitting .395 now, had a home run against A&M, and again, another guy that can really deliver at the plate.
Right, and that's when we're going to need, obviously we're going to need those guys to continue to do what they're doing, and the other guys, pick it up and try to get everybody clicking on the same page. But Dylan obviously has some pop in his bat, and I think some of the things that he's done, as well as any, he can make adjustments. And I've seen him, when they're trying to breaking ball him, he can take a breaking ball, hit it the other way if you miss up in the zone. So he can hit. Now you got to figure out what you want to throw him.
Bradley Nolan, we talked earlier, hitting .337. Josh Doyle, you didn't know if you had maybe lost him for the season, but luckily, he was able to rehab and come back, and he's hitting .333 for you.
Yeah, and that was one of those things you didn't know. It took a little longer, but we were able to get him back in the lineup, and it kind of changed our lineup to kind of get him back to maybe we figured it out a little bit more. But obviously Bradley, even though he's hitting in the 7th, he's very capable of hitting in the top of our order. But it's really nice to have him down there because he's had some big hits, some big RBIs, and really in some huge hits in the last 4 or 5 games.
The Union Series at home for you this weekend. Then you have Freed-Hardeman at home on Tuesday. Then you travel to Stillman on Wednesday before the West Alabama Series. So a couple of tough tests for you before you go to West Alabama.
Right, and this has been just the way the schedule worked out. A lot of times you don't want to play that many games midweek, try to get one, but it's the way it's set up. So yeah, it's another big week for us.
The Lions at home on Tuesday against Freed-Hardeman, as we mentioned, a 5 o'clock game on Tuesday, and then Wednesday at Stillman, a tough opponent. They were in the regional last year, and they pulled out a 3-1 win here earlier in the year.
Yeah, they played very well at our place, and I looked at Freed-Hardeman's leading their conference, so it's going to be another tough week for us.
Thanks for being with us. Hope to see you out at Mike Lane Field.
Thank you for watching the UNA Baseball Review. Please join us again next Sunday at 11:30.